Hello everyone, Joe here from josephjyoung.com. Today I wanted to talk to you about how do I create more money. Have you ever asked that question? Have you ever said, I need more money? Have you ever asked yourself the question, why do I say that? I know it sounds obvious, got this to take care of, this bill to pay, this desire to accomplish, and it all takes money, right? But have you ever asked yourself the question, how do I create more money? Big difference than how do I make more money? A job can make you money, but how do you create money? And we're going to talk about that for just a couple of minutes today. Of course, we're not going to do like the government does and, get on the telephone and call up the Federal Reserve Bank and say, hey, would you print us a couple $billion bucks? We did something like that, we'd be thrown in jail. They get away with it? Okay. Nothing we can do about that until, time passes and maybe something happens with the Federal Reserve Bank and it goes away. But anyways, that's another lesson for another time. How do I create more money? I like the statement because it asks a question that excites thought, and it provokes our mind to start thinking about how can I versus why we can't. And we want to stimulate our minds to think about how we can do things. It's just the right direction to go in. But before we answer the question, how do I create more money, let's talk about a parable that Jesus taught in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. He's teaching the people, as he often did, a story to convey a spiritual lesson. And he talked about that the kingdom of heaven was as a man traveling into a far country. And he bestowed his goods to his servants. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, and to another 1 talent. But here's the most important part. He gave each of these a set of talents according to their ability. In other words, the guy with 5 talents had the ability, he had the knowledge, he had everything he needed to know what to do with those 5 talents. And when you convert talents of gold and silver in the first century to today, Jesus is teaching a very huge lesson. He just went out there and just threw out some huge amounts. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars in U.S. currency today. That's what he was sharing in the story. That's what this gentleman with the 5 talents had. The man with the 2 talents, he had several $million dollars. And even the guy with the 1 talent had a couple of $1 million as well in value, based on what you're talking about, gold or silver. Now here's the thing. Each one of these knew what to do with what they were given. And that's what makes this parable so important. Jesus is sending a message to say, when I give you something, I'm giving you something because you know what to do with what I give you, or else I wouldn't have given it to you. So we have to start thinking about it. So when God has given us, for example, everlasting life and eternal salvation, He's given us a gospel that is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes. We've got something we can do something with, and we should not hide it like the man with the 1 talent did. And so getting right to it, the man with 5 went and he traded and he gained another 5. The man with the 2 went, traded, and gained another 2. But the gentleman with the 1 talent, who knew what to do, he had enough knowledge and experience to take that 1 talent and at least double it. But instead, fear stopped him. And here's the key. The question is, how do I create more money? Well, how many times before we allow ourselves to continue venturing in that thought, and eventually our thoughts will transpire into action, we allow fear to stop us. I can't do that. I can't do that. Oh, that's a pyramid scheme. Or, no, you can't make money blogging. Oh, you can't do that. What do? We start swatting away opportunity as if we were swatting a fly. But that doesn't answer the question, how do I create more money? What you're doing when you do that, when you close your mind, you're refusing to think about how you can do something, how you can accomplish something. And we don't want to do that. God has blessed us with so many gifts and talents and abilities, and if you're blessed to have your mental faculties and your physical capabilities to do something, we're all without excuse. So back to the question, how do I create more money? The man with the 1 talent, for fear, buried it, and he did nothing with it. He could have. We don't want fear to stop us. We want to consider options. Part of being able to advance and go forward in life, regardless of where you are financially today, is being able to be open-minded enough to consider the options. And there are many ways to create more money. Okay, I'm talking about creating money from the angle of wealth building, okay? Money that's going to work for you. You do something, you put some effort forth, and it creates an investment, regardless of what that investment may be, that then returns, okay, income back to you. That's what I'm talking about. We create, okay, more money. Blogging is one way to create more money. Network marketing is a way to create more money. You may be negative about it, but you can't argue the fact that network marketing is a business system that works if you work it. It's all about building relationship, building people, and really doing, in any company, it's generally the same, doing two simple things, and that's either gathering customers and showing somebody else how to do the same. It's just, do you want to use that vehicle to create more money? Blogging the same, as far as being able to create more money. A lot of little aspects involved with blogging. Everything takes work, so arm yourself with, a mindset that if I'm going to ask the question, how do I create more money, then I must become willing to do some work. I must be willing to learn. And I end with this, back to the story of the talents. Jesus is teaching us, obviously, we should do something with this walk with God that He's given all of us. We should be lights to the world. We should walk in truth. We should please God. We should want to do these things. We should want to walk in holiness and do something because His salvation is great. If we glean from that, this principle in certain areas of our everyday life, then we realize that in order to be capable of receiving the 5 talents, the 2 talents, and even the 1 talent, we have to acquire the knowledge and the ability to know what to do once those talents are in our hand. In other words, we have to be willing to learn. You can't create more money without learning how to create more money. There's a learning curve involved, and you must allow yourself to go through that learning curve. Look, we spend years and years and years getting into debt, making bad financial choices, learning how to spend money, and we practice that to an art. But what about learning how to create more money? I'm talking about outside of a job. Okay? If I'm going to spend all this time and energy, right, learning how to be broke, we can take that same energy and put it towards creating and getting away from the broke syndrome, paycheck to paycheck. And we can put that effort into learning things, that will definitely generate income. So I think you understand where I'm going. I don't need to belittle the point, but once you're capable of receiving something that you can then turn and invest, don't throw it away. Don't become afraid. Don't allow yourself to, by limiting beliefs, to keep yourself from great success. Well, that's enough for now. Hope that answered the question, at least provoked your thought a little bit about how do I create more money.